digital signage is still on, it's kind of the next frontier in general. I mean, if you really walk around, even in the large metropolitan areas like New York, I mean, the digital signage is very limited, right? There's like digital billboards, there's
Hmm.
taxi stoppers, there's bus shelters. Um, so we're really enabling something. I mean, people are already driving around. We're giving people an opportunity to purchase and own these, earn as they go, and also express themselves in whatever way they like, right? Or, a lot of businesses will use it for conferences and all that. I mean, there's really a lot of
Mm.
applications to it. Um, but it's just, real estate that's highly visible, right? Because, when you're in an urban area, you got a lot of eyeballs, you're
Oh
moving,
yeah.
and it's really a medium that's going to allow for people to get more exposure and visibility, and in a new plane, basically.
Yeah. And I could imagine when you're talking about, the distraction and especially in the cities, walking around, you just see people in their phones, right? So I could imagine this is something that will definitely help those businesses that are trying to get those consumers. And it also sounds like there's some sort of benefit to the driver as well. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, aside from it just being another publishing platform and out of home, we've really geared it to be a big benefit for the drivers from just a new revenue source. So as
Hmm.
you drive around, you can monetize. We geo target and we count impressions, similar to other out of home signage platforms. But we also just I think that's one of the biggest ones is you can earn up to $500 per month just on your regular routine. Going to work, commuting, and that could be substantial to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And of course, there's a gig economy drivers, right, who drive maybe 70 hours a week, right? So the opportunities there, and really how we set it up is we are allowing the consumer to own it, um,
Hmm.
theirs, and they keep most of the upside and most of the revenue, right? Because it's their platform, it's their investment, and that's how we kind of structured it from the beginning.
So tell me a little bit about the beginning and how do you have a team that you kind of worked with to really take things off the ground? This is such an interesting concept. I'd love to hear how it kind of started. I'm sure there's a lot of listeners who are scratching their heads trying to figure out how can I get this passion project off the ground, or how can I get something that's really it feels so far-fetched, but it's something that I really want to get started on. Can you share anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, just some tips surrounding that. I mean, we're a hardware software play, right? So it's definitely not an easy. It's a huge undertaking. This has been a few years in the making now, and there's a lot of learning we had to make. We had to do, and a lot of iterations, and I had to basically optimize our supply chain to make sure that we could build something that's not only scalable but affordable and at the right price point and all that. So there is a lot of things you got to consider when you're building something that's hardware based. Uh, but one of my tips would be just one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed with trying to get it all done in a year. Just bit
Mm.
by bit, whatever you can take bites that you can actually chew, right? So uh, I know that's super cliche, but you really just got to take it step by step, um, and not feel like, oh, somebody else is already doing it or something similar. I don't really believe in that because I feel like you can execute anything, any business model, any service, any product in all kinds of different ways. So that's something to keep in mind. When you're working on something, try to find an addressable market that makes
Mm.
sense, large enough. If you're thinking about going the venture capital route,
Mm.
but just you're unique and you're going to build a unique team, and you have inherent values that no one else has. You're going to have a different vision, and you see it all over and over and over again. Even if there was another company that was already doing what we're doing, we would still do it differently, and I think we would still be successful. I mean, yeah, we have an advantage because we're kind of the first mover in this space, and we have
Mhm.
patents now and everything else. But I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, I can kind of talk a bit more about advice for entrepreneurs, but if you really are passionate, that's a great start. If you're doing it for the right reasons, if it's just
Mhm.
money and trying to live a good life, then you're probably going to build a service and product that no one needs, and you're just kind of pushing it down their throats. You don't want
Mhm.
to build something that really creates value for society and something that people actually want, and it makes your job easier. And yeah, it may take a little longer to figure that out, but in the long run, you're actually creating some net positive change.